Welcome back. The Ministry of Information and Communication Technology has embarked on a nationwide regional consultation process on the proposed Cybercrime Bill. These consultations form part of efforts to finalise legislation aimed at strengthening Namibia's legal framework to prevent and combat cybercrime, including online child sexual exploitation and abuse, as well as related digital offences. Now, to unpack the purpose, scope and importance of these regional stakeholder engagements, we're joined by MICT Senior Public Relations Officer, Ngaevarue Heuva. Ngai, good evening and thank you so much for joining us here on the Daily Roundup.
Thank you for having me. I hope you can hear me as good as possible.
Yes, we can. Just to start with, talk to us about what prompted, of course, the ministry to embark on these regional consultations at this stage, of finalizing the Cybercrime Bill.
So yes, the ministry understands that a legislation of this nature must reflect lived realities of every Namibian. As we know, cybercrime affects people directly across regions, sectors, and communities. So we came up with this consultation program to just allow us to solicit input and comments on the bill, to hear realities experienced on the ground, identify gaps, and ensure that the final law that we wish to enact is inclusive and responsive to the needs of all Namibians before it is tabled.
For members of the public, Ngai, who may not be familiar with the process, what is the overall objective with the Cybercrime Bill and how will it impact everyday Namibians?
In essence, the bill really aims at protecting Namibians in the digital space by criminalizing online fraud. Identify first cyberbullying, hacking, and online exploitation, and other digital offences. As it stands now, we are unable to criminalize these offences. So the bill is trying to close that gap for every Namibian, and this means that it is now safer online banking, better protection of personal data, safer social media use, or we can call it hygiene social media use, stronger mechanisms for reporting and investigation of cyber-related crimes.
Well, the consultations are taking place across several towns and regions. Why is it important to take this conversation outside of, Windhoek?
The digital transformation agenda of Namibia right now is inclusive. It seeks to make sure that it reaches the far and every Namibian in every corner that they may find themselves, which also means that cybercrime follows. And it does not affect just the people in the urban areas. Rural areas and small, medium businesses, learners, and the first-time internet users are also just as vulnerable. So by going to different regions, we want to ensure that the voices of all Namibians are heard and that the law does not only reflect the views or comments or inputs of people and institutions that are reachable in urban areas, but just national realities.
So who then are the key stakeholders that the ministry is hoping to hear from during these consultations, and what kind of inputs is the ministry looking for?
Thank you for that question. Our stakeholders are community members. I do not want people to think that this type of inputs are reserved for certain individuals or people who work in the ICT sector, but we want community members to give their input as much as everybody else or institutions. We want traditional authorities to be just involved. We want educators, civil societies, financial institutions, and law enforcement to help us shape a policy that will respond to everybody's realities and their needs or experiences of cybercrime. Which brings me to the second point that says, so the inputs of how everybody experiences cybercrime. There are challenges in reporting it, there are fears about the misuse of the law, and suggestions or inputs on how the bill can protect the rights while ensuring accountability are some of the inputs we are actually sourcing in this region.
Well, guys, sometimes cybercrime can, feel like a distant or technical issue. So what are some of the real life risks that this bill seeks to address, particularly for vulnerable groups such as children?
Indeed, children are one of the most vulnerable groups when we speak of cybercrime. They have often enough fallen victim to online grooming, child sexual exploitation, cyberbullying, identity theft, and a lot of times are also used for online scams. So for children and young people, the bill endeavors to combat online child sexual exploitation. We want to combat abuse and related offences by creating clear offences that the law enforcement can actually act on while we are supporting awareness and prevention efforts.
How then will the feedback that you're gathering during these regional consultations be used in shaping the final cybercrime bill, Ngae?
All inputs and comments from these consultations will be documented, because we are looking at it as every experience that we can gather from the community members is equally important in shaping this bill. So they will be analyzed and reviewed by the technical drafting team, and where valid concerns or gaps are identified, the bill will be redefined or refined accordingly.
Well, just finally, before we let you go, what message is it that you'd like to share with institutions or organizations and even members, of the public who are yet to participate before the consultation process concludes?
I really wish to encourage all Namibians to participate in these consultations. It is crucial that we all have our voices reflected in this bill, and that this bill shapes how we are all protected online for the years to come. So for as long as you are using your phone, the internet, or digital services, you are affected, which means this bill concerns you. It concerns your child, and not just today, but also for the years to come. Therefore, your voice matters, and it is the opportunity for us to shape a safer digital Namibia. So encourage participation from everybody.
Ngae, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us here on the Daily Roundup.
Thank you for having me.
That was Ngaevarue Heuva from the Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology, speaking to us about the consultation process that they're currently undertaking within the country to get some consultation from the general public on the proposed cybercrime bill. It's almost time to